and he had pulled her in close, and he said, now you're hot enough that I can you. I can you now. It was like a moment of shock, a moment of your stomach turning.
You ready? Here we go. We are back at it again. Good to see my friend. The Fall of Diddy documentary series, episode 3, titled Untouchable. Not gonna lie to you, the last 10 seconds of episode 2 had me shook. And I'm afraid to hear and see what's finna go down, but we gotta do it. With that being said, let's go.
I didn't even call Sean to tell him I was doing this.
Puffy knew how the media worked, and he knew how important it was to maintain an image.
I have a big announcement to make today. I will run New York City Marathon.
It's like the Black
to raise
Trump.
Money and awareness for 3
Like, he just keeps
charities.
changing the narrative.
We start to see Sean Combs engage in these kind of stunts. In the 2004 election, he starts to talk about this vote or die campaign.
This election is life or death. Now we're gonna make voting cool.
He's now mingling with future President Obama at the time when Obama's career was on the rise.
I just want to say how much I appreciate Puff Daddy for doing the kinds of work that he's doing, because he doesn't have to do this.
Sean Combs shows up in a Broadway production that's revisiting A Raisin in the Sun, one of the
He
first
did do
plays
that.
by a black woman produced
You know,
on
Diddy.
Broadway.
Sean P. Diddy Combs is winning over audiences on Broadway.
You know, Diddy wanted to yell at Obama like, it's Diddy now. It's not Puff. Like, but you know, in his brain he's like, don't call me Puff Daddy no more. I got rid of that name. I'm a whole new human.
I want to work for Diddy.
Oh, Jesus.
I was quite blown away that I was actually directing this guy and telling this guy what to do. I think to work for a narcissist, you have to become one. And I think that's what the show's success was.
Wow.
I was planning to go up and talk to Sean and block it out with him before we started. My AD's with me, and I knock on the door. I come in, and to the right is this pretty grandiose staircase. So I'm standing there a good 5 minutes. He comes down, he's got a robe on. It's open, he's got nothing on. He's just naked. Like it was nothing. He knew I was there. He knew we were waiting. It was a moment where it's like, wow, I guess somebody at that level can really, truly do and say whatever they want to do and say.
Bro, that's crazy.
From the outside, he was this mogul. He was this guy who, you know,
D
could
Woods!
make your dreams come true. But then there was the other side. I remember one time where he had the cameras there while we were like trying on clothes so he could watch us. He's going to point this little camera at us for Diddy so he can judge our appearance. I called it like Jedi mind tricks. This happened so early on. He was going one by one, just like critiquing our style. And when he got to me, it wasn't about the clothes.
What's your stomach looking like? For real, are you feeling a little thick?
And I was like, well, you know, next to these skinny girls, I'm always gonna look thick. I'm working out, I'm running. I always feel thick next to these skinny chicks. Puff would just say, you look like you know, you 1 cheeseburger away. You know that, right? You know that you 1 cheeseburger away. Like, he wanted me to agree with him.
You're like a burger away.
And it was like I had to just take it, grit my teeth, and let him say what he wanted to say.
Remind me of Tyra Banks.
I remember feeling like Diddy was this tough love boss.
Especially if Aubrey.
God dang Aubrey, man.
Aubrey always stuck out as one of the stars, one of the fan favorites. He had an aggressive, intimidating way with her. I remember one scene where he was like, what do you have to say?
Aubrey, you ain't got nothing to say?
I remember that like it's yesterday.
You got such a big mouth when I'm going. What you got to say? Say it now.
The way Puff and Aubrey went back and forth was very uncomfortable to witness, to watch.
He was the hardest person that you can work for, and it was torture. And not the work part of it, but the other stuff.
I remember her sharing with me that He had sent her a lot of very inappropriate pictures. I saw a lot of things that he would email her. Very sexual in nature, very just like overtly like pornographic, like things that he wanted to do to her. She was just kind of like, what do I do? Aubrey came into my hotel room and told me that she ran into Puff in person, and he had pulled her in close, and he said, now you're hot enough that I can you. I can you now. It was like a moment of shock, a moment of your stomach turning, a moment of just like, we're definitely in over our heads. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it was this mandatory meeting that needed to happen. We thought we were off. We thought we had finished filming. It was just like, what in the entire?
The vision that I had for the group, this ain't the vision that I'm on. You know what I'm saying?
The whole group of Danity Kane sitting at the table, and Puff was saying to Aubrey she was promiscuous, saying that he didn't like her image and her body.
I don't like what she does to the brand when she's wilding out there, being overly raunchy, promiscuous.
Puff fired Aubrey.
I don't want you in the group no more.
And then he turned to me and said, get out.
You can go too.
I believe that he fired Aubrey, one, because she did not succumb to his advances. Two, because he wanted her to feel powerless and question her worth. I feel like that's part of the same reason why he probably got rid of me too.
Yeah, I remember that. I was watching all that, but Making the Band, Day 26, Danity Kane. This one I was heavy into reality TV when it was still, I guess, good, if you want to call it that. Yeah, I remember that. I'm like, damn, he breaking up the group, son? And the crazy part is he did the same thing with Making the Band. Like, it's almost, he really just uses you for all he can use you for, and then he just gets rid of you, discards you. It's all a power dynamic, I think, with this guy. And plus, he couldn't control Aubrey. He couldn't control D Woods. Not to disrespect everybody else. I love Dawn. But it's just like, it's crazy.
I started working for Puff in the summer of 2007.
I am Sean Combs' personal chef.
I was in my early 20s. I'm just like, I'm excited. His level of success, his level of power, and his reach. Who wouldn't want to be associated with him? Puff was the top.
The chef, Mr. Combs would like to see it. What do we got for dessert?
Fruit.
I was definitely intimidated.
Fruit.
I have some of my journal entries here.
Oh boy, here we go.
Puff would notoriously berate you, embarrass you, belittle you. I was having constant anxiety attacks and heart palpitations. I was diagnosed with stress-induced alopecia. My hair started to fall out.
Oh, no.
And then I saw a cardiologist who said that my body couldn't handle the stress levels. He said to me, if you keep this job any longer than a year, you'll be dead.
Oh my God.
When I discussed what was going on with a few other people that worked, it was kind of like a joke. It was like, oh yeah, well you're official now. Welcome. You're not really official until you have some sort of breakdown around here. I think his expectation of others was how he operated within his own life. He really is a can't stop, won't stop, no sleep. That is really how he operates. But there was a specific time Puff comes downstairs and he's yelling, I'm so f***ing tired of hearing about you and your f***ing attitude, and all you gotta do is cook the f***ing food. Me and him are like face to face like this. And he's just like, he does like this to my forehead, and he's just like, you know, like, and I'm telling him, like, don't touch me. And now tears are coming down my eyes. And he's like, you crying? You crying? And there's kids starving in Africa and you over here crying? And all you gotta do is cook food? He was just getting madder and madder. And so I walk away and I'm opening up the refrigerator. I remember him saying, yeah, you crazy. And then I just remembered slamming the door and being like, yeah, that's right, I'm crazy. And you know what else? I quit. Me saying that I quit, like, enraged him more, because he's like, you can't quit on me. You can't quit on me. And I just remember turning around and saying, you. And when I turned around and I said that to him, he used all of his force and he just shoved me, like he pushed me. And I went flying outside of the doorway and I ended up on my elbows and my butt. I'm telling the office, I'm gonna sue this motherfucker.
Right.
They understood that I was upset, but they're like, if you sue him, your career is over. You will be blackballed. He does have the power to do that, and he will do that. Puff scared me. So I kept quiet about things that I knew because I was afraid that something might happen to me.
This guy was really a mob boss. Like, this is crazy.
But knowing everything that I know now, I would never work for Puffy. My name is Rodney Jones, Jr., also known as Lil Rod. I produced the Love album Off the Grid for Sean Combs. Working with Puff, you never know who you're dealing with. We were at Puffy's Los Angeles house, working in the studio. He says, I want to work in my bathroom. Everybody bring everything. So we break down the studio, get the instruments, and go to his bathroom as usual. And he strips himself in front of us and jumps right into the shower. But he's looking directly at me. You know what I mean? I found myself getting a pat on my butt. Felt uncomfortable and still feels uncomfortable. I was very unsure what to think and how to feel. It's not something that I ever want to happen again. I did at some point raise this issue to one of the chief of staff. She would tell me, oh, that's just his way of showing he likes you or love.
Like, hold on. This man told his engineers and producers go in the bathroom so they can record, all for him to strip down so he can go take a shower and watch him take a shower, bro. It's more than not being comfortable. Nick, I'm leaving. You ain't never got to worry about seeing me again. But then again, it's these people's livelihood. So it's like, what do you do? Because if you leave, like, that's the end of your career probably. It's like, God damn, man. Like, yo, that's sick. That is sick, man.
That effing monster. Back in 2000, I was living in Queens. I was a mom in the middle of a divorce. So kind of maintaining house and home first. And then I started dating a bad boy executive through my boyfriend. I met Sean Combs at Daddy's house studio. It was just a normal, hey, how you doing? Welcome to the fam. Welcome to Bad Boy. That was the atmosphere, very fun, very upbeat. At that time, Diddy was the jokester, the prankster, but now, thinking back, Diddy would make remarks that if you have to really think back to it, it's like, a little weird. Like, hey, don't leave her alone over here. You got a pretty girl. She's a little thing. Now, in hindsight, it's like you're prepping yourself for the kill. And then what happened in 2001 changed my whole life. I was home in Queens. I got a call from one of the people at Bad Boy Studios. They said, Puff wants to talk to you because your boyfriend is up at work again. There was nothing alarming about Puff wanting to talk to me because we've had a conversation about him screwing up at work prior to this, to get him back on track. A little while later, this burgundy Escalade pulls up and Puff was sitting in the back. So I jumped in the back and he said, hey, what's up? Do you want something to drink? I said, sure, what you got? And he was drinking something in a red Solar cup, and he gave me a clear glass, like a little cup, with some white Zin. By the time we got to Daddy's House Studios, I started feeling a little woozy, lightheaded. I kept doing this, trying to feel my face because it kept feeling a little numb. I remember getting out the Escalade. Still, I'm thinking we're gonna go to the studio and my boyfriend's gonna be there. But at this time, we went down the hallway to a door and a lounge that I've never been to. And I remember sitting on the dark couch. Puff was sitting there on the couch with me, and I'm not sure for how long I was sitting there. And I started feeling a lot more fuzzier, and I remember crying. And the next thing I remember was I was slammed on a pool table. And just sit in the shower for about an hour, and that's what I did. Trying to scrub, literally it's like scrub your life away. I have stayed in bed and hiding from my parents for 3 days in the same household because I still couldn't fathom what happened. It didn't seem real. And then came the questions, why me? You know, we were supposed to be cool. We were supposed to be like friends. We were supposed to be, you know me. Those were all the thoughts going through my head while I was hiding. Soon after that, I got a call, and it was Puff. I was terrified. He said, hey, keep your effing mouth shut. And then he hung up the phone. Puffy has ways of finding out stuff and making things happen. I need to get the hell away from New York. I ended up disappearing for a few years. I was a total wreck, hanging on to sanity by a thread, trying to cope with being raped and assaulted, trying to raise a child, depression, trying to fight every day to keep yourself alive. Because at that point, there was nothing there. There was nothing to say, okay, you got tomorrow to live for, right? So every day was a battle. Every day was a struggle to try to keep me from either killing myself or doing something stupid. Today, I'm still coping with and trying to get through it. Because November of 2023, I was told by my ex-boyfriend that my assault was actually recorded on tape. For me, it was like, why would somebody record raping somebody and then you show it to other people? I was so angry. And then he said, do you see what's happening in the news with Cassie?
Sean Diddy Combs, the disgraced music mogul.
Sean Diddy Combs. Sean Diddy Combs facing a slew of allegations, including rape and sex trafficking.
She opened out a can of worms with Puff,
forcing her into unwanted sexual encounters through the use of illegal substances and threats of violence. The acclaimed music producer vehemently denying the allegations,
I always believed that I was the only victim.
These are the first of what could be scores of lawsuits.
Definitely looking at a piece of property that is owned by Sean Combs.
It has been a staggering fall from grace.
So this episode centers around Puff going from a millionaire, a hip-hop exec, to a billionaire through his business dealings, and through that time also sexually abusing his producer, some random, I forget who the person was, some random I think it was some random person. Was it from Cologne or something? Like, it was some random person. No, it was producer. It was some random producer coming downstairs with a robe on, nothing on, showing basically indecent exposure. Just so much to try to grasp right now. Like, when she was telling that story, like, I don't know how to explain it. It felt like like it almost felt numb. Like, I don't know, like my upper body felt numb. It's crazy. That's insane. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to try to talk about this one because that's just disgusting. Like, all right, so we have Lil Rod, who was a producer for Diddy for the Love album 2023, and the fact that, according to him, that Puff allegedly had him, not only didn't pay him, that's like the least of the worries, not only didn't pay him, but also coerced him into going to the bathroom along with other producers while he stripped naked and went into a shower, physically touched on the producer, and then coerced him to go to clubs to search for women, sex workers, to have sex with him, which is where we get these sex trafficking allegations from. And that's just him. Then you have also allegedly being drugged, right? So you also have that as well, that he might have been drugged during that whole process as well. Then you have the chef who worked for Puffy and just being completely verbally abused, and then actually got physically abused when she tried to quit, but then was told, like, it's crazy. Oh my God. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm all over the place. Okay. So going back to Lil Rod, he tried to go to somebody to talk about how uncomfortable and how messed up he felt about everything, and was basically told it is like, this is what it is. Like, this basically, it is what it is. Like, this is what it is to work with Puff. So he just likes you, right? Just like, what? Like, first of all, whoever told, like, it's like a whole sex ring. Like, it's a whole, like, oh, that just means that he likes you. It's okay. It's like, what? So that was, I believe, everyone. And then we get to the woman that was the girlfriend of I forget what the person did. Maybe producer. It was a producer for Diddy or something like that. You have the girlfriend of the producer that used to work for Diddy in the early 2000s. And she basically entails her entire experience of, in her words, getting raped. So we have all that in one episode. I just can't get over it. That was back in 2001, 2000. That's just one person. And I think I mentioned it during this watch along that this sounds so much like Blink Twice. Yeah, shout out to Zoe Kravitz that directed this movie. Yeah, I'm gonna play the trailer, and then we'll get out of here. Yeah, so that was Blink Twice. So yeah, this sounds very much like Blink Twice regarding all the experiences people have been having with Diddy. Again, I can't wait to talk. Actually, I can't wait to talk about this movie. It really, like, it kind of is an awakening. It really gives a creative perspective. Not creative, but it gives you a visual of what happens with these celebrities, with Hollywood, with the industry, with these powerful people, these influencers. So yeah. Again, just like, golly, man. Like, I keep thinking about all the victims, all their families, all the broken homes he's created, and he could not have a care in the world. I can't get over that. Like, we're talking about one person in 2000, 2001, one chef, one producer. How many of them are there that probably would never come forward? How many of them have died, committed suicide? Like, who knows what they have done, and that have to live with this trauma forever. All the songs we're hearing, how many of them are? It just really makes me think about all the songs that we've heard, all the music videos. Like, how much of it, there might have been people that were abused during the process. It just makes me think about a lot. So yeah, this was definitely a difficult episode to watch. But yeah, let's get to episode 4. That is the next one up. And again, it just, oh my God. And if he, you know what? I don't even know. I just like, how did he get away with this? How did he get away with this for so long? But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, share all the things. Ain't gotta go home, do gotta get a step in. Peace.
I know is not enough. She's a